Good morning, Rabbi Isai. My father said that this was the best part of his trip to Eretz Yisrael. This is Aryeh Abramowitz. I was in Yerushalayim during the week, and a guy came over to me, took a picture. Yeah, here we go. Ishkoyach. Best part of his trip to Eretz Yisrael. That's where we ate. Koishikol Moish. We have a hero, it says. You got some audio? It's very, very important, this thing.
America needs a superhero.
Not that I'm going, another title. Fine. You didn't like that, no. You love it. Oh, hold on a second. Where's my... Arya Hassel. Dear Belly, my son Yehuda and his friend Arya are sons of avid Daf Yomi fans who listen to you. They got inspiration for the Hanukkah project by hearing the shir. Notice the detail in the craft and using you as the shamish, enlightening and illuminating the various mesechtas for Klal Yisrael. Big shout out to Yehuda Zayda, Selwyn Jaffe, who represents us in person in shir. He's not here today. I got it. Arya Hassel, Manchester. Yossi Dahari sent this. Avi Doltis, inspiring to see such individuals braving the minus 9-degree weather. That's how cold it is in Manchester now? Wow. Rabbi Isai, this is the famous Eli Trapper. It's been a while, but just had to share with you how I caught the other Rebelli, Trapper, trying to get himself a free Gemara. See attached picture of Rebelli doing the daf at his cousin's wedding. When he, with a straight face, asked the guy across the table, you want to join? Before Rebelli could blink, I called him out and said, you're just trying to get a free Gemara. We had a great laugh. I think he's still laughing, but the best part was when he admitted that I caught him. In case you think he's just a Zoom guy, you should know he's out there by weddings, recruiting and encouraging people to get involved. Attached are some pictures, video of Rebelli being Mesameach Chasam Kala. P.S. He told me to sponsor his shir in honor of the wedding, but I'm not listening to him. Instead, the shir is sponsored l'schus that Rebelli shouldn't need to wear a mask anymore at work. A fan since somewhere in Brachas regards Gedalia Palak. Here is Eli Trapper being Mesameach Chasam Kala. Shkoyach. Oh, this is a long one. I don't know. I can't read. Look how long this email is. Very, very long. But basically, Beryl Septimus, his grandchild, says, I'm going to read part of it, only the first part. He was going through his grandparents' apartment. He was going from his family's apartment upstairs. My grandfather stopped me. He wanted to sponsor a shir and share a vart and a story with the Rav and asked that I, being the techie one in the family, figured out how to do so for him. Thought I'd just show him the site once I found it or even sit and have him dictate an email to me, but I waited too long. His levaya was today. So he goes on to say the vart, a very nice vart, but I have to look it over again, make sure, because he said I have to be 100% sure that the vart is correct. And what does it say here? Lili Nishmas Yisif Dov Ben Mordechai Tein Nishmas Yitzur B'Tzur Chaim. Okay, Shama should have an aliyah. Huh? Rav Shteiman. No, that it was last week sometime. Yeah, Rav Shteiman's yours said is today. Fine. So, some questions for today's daf. Hold on a second. First, let's say Shalom Aleichem to the guest. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Ben Guldman.
Ben Guldman from Manchester. It's kind of cold over there.
Yeah, we made Aliyah to the Tanya 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, another Aliyah guy. Givaldi. We're not going to sing your song because we sing it every day. So we sing last. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Uri Gershner. Shalom Aleichem. He's the reason. I'm not going to say the whole story. He's the reason I'm married to my wife. He's the real shotgun. He learned with me in Chaim Berlin, Givaldi stuff. You remember the story?
I wasn't going to bring it up, okay.
Yeah, okay. So in a roundabout way, I'm here because of you. You never know. It's Givaldi. How you doing, Uri? Where do you live? Wow. Who else do we have guests here? No, he's old. He's been there Friday. I saw some new face somewhere. Okay. Shalom. Oh, you. Yeah. Shalom. We also kind of. What's your name? Remind me. Steve Hutt from Was from Denver. And you just made Aliyah. You came the day after your Aliyah. You gotta get ready. Remember that name. Psh. Who? Can't see, he's hiding over there. Yeah, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name, Tzaddik? Yeah. Something Freed. Ezra Freed. We also met. Yeah, okay, you guys weren't here last night. Okay. Okay, fine, boys, I hear the questions for today. If somebody, what do you guys think? Bemis, if somebody says he won't, hold on. If somebody says he won't eat meat, does that include liver? Makes a nether, you won't eat meat, does it include chopped liver? Yeah, no? No. Here's another question. Don't answer all in one time. If somebody eats a grasshopper, because halachically he's permitted to eat it, how many hours does he have to wait afterwards to eat milchiks? Who said 0? Why 0? Huh? 0. Why? Because it's parav. Good. If you make a nether, you're not going to eat meat. Could you eat fish? Is fish meat considered meat? And the last one is from yesterday. I forgot to erase it. Sorry. Okay. The koilel is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. He just wrote to me today that he sponsored a couple of people to come to the Siyum in Miami. Tremendous. The guy is non-stop. The Masechta sponsored in Zgul Katoira of Tומכיה, כיעקב ויעל. Parnas HaChodesh, Lila Nishma, Zechariah ben Moshe, Lila Nishma, בּצלאל ben Moshe. I think, are we up and running for Tomer? Is the site running for Miami? Not yet. Still accepting sponsors? Still accepting sponsors, big sponsors, to help people come to the scene. It's going to be an amazing. People told me now on Shabbos, people made up their mind they're going to come. Givaldik. In honor of Harav, okay, here we go with the jokes again. In honor of Harav, HaGaon, HaTzadik, Adoneni, Moreinu, Eliyahu Stefansky, Shlita, because without Rebelli, I never would have met Yossi Klein. From Anonymous, of course. Okay. Does anybody know who that is? Who? No. Adoneni, Moreinu, Rabbeinu? No. He's from Los Angeles. No? L'chayra? No? Yeah. L'chayra. I think it's Harry Shalom. Happy birthday, Duvi, Franken. Keep on Shteiging with Eli Stefansky, Tatty, and Mami. Gedalian Shosha, Waldman, Lili Nishmat, Harav Yitzchak, Ben Shlomo, Rabbi Dr. Irving Jacob, Zeichet Zadik Livracha. By Elvis, otherwise known as Elvis Skensberg. Why does it say Elvis here? Where is he? Come on. Eliyahu Skensberg. In honor of the Guldman family making Aliyah and having Ben visit RBS MDY. Hatzlacha on your journey. Who's Ben? Oh, Ben. He's sponsored in your honor. Now you have to sponsor for him. Okay. Phil Byrne, in memory of my grandmother, Cyril Bat Harav Chaim, Yortzeit, Ceila. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Celia Ruck. Zechariah Livracha. The first month of art is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. Again, the same guy that's sponsoring the koilel schus for his niece's shidduchim. So you understand what's going on here. $10,000 for the koilel, $5,000 for the art, and a bunch of tickets in between for people going to Miami. Oh, what's that over there? What do you got for me? Oh, finally get to open up. From Moshe Kinsbursky. I wonder what's in a soup bag. What is it? Who is it from? Oh, he just made it. Okay. Oh, I know exactly who made it. No. Who does the bobblehead? Who's Mr. Bob? And that's why he's sponsored. I got it. Let's check out the... Oh my goodness. Now, if I wear this, are people going to think I'm into myself? No. It literally makes no difference anymore. What? There's more in the pocket? Oh, there's more in the pocket. This? Cufflings? Adoneni cufflings? Maybe I should give it to my kid. He'll appreciate it. More bobblehead. Avoid the Zar, Bekitzer. Look at this. Donnie, I'm sorry. You finished your Shnai Mikra? You just finished. Okay, good. Whew. Okay, that's it? Do I have to put this on now? Yeah. We'll put it on afterwards. Now? Yeah. We got to start cheer. It's 7:30 already. No, we gotta go afterwards. I'll put it on Bezer Hashem tomorrow to share. Okay, whatever you say. Rabbi, so let's go. We got a brand new parak. Hanoidim min hayorok. Same kind of theme as we had yesterday. If you loved yesterday's sugi, you're gonna love it even more today. I have a story to tell the Olam on Amud Beis that every time I think about it, just think about the story, I burst out crying. It's a very short story, but it's very, very emotional. Hanoidim min hayorok. The Mishnah is sponsored that we should all have the schus to never give up, stay positive, and keep going forward. Hanoidim min hayorok mutar bidluin. If a person says that he won't eat greens, he's permitted to eat gourds. So, as we discussed yesterday, vegetables is a broad category of vegetables. We have greens, and that includes, you see on the right, you have all the greens, the lettuce, the different herbs that are green, literally green. And then you have the peiros haaretz, the fruit of the ground, tomatoes, cucumbers. A dlat, a pumpkin, is not included in that. We're going to see a little bit more why and how. Rabbi Akiva says it is included in yarok. Amrulai, this is interesting. It's plural. Amrulai, as if everybody ganged up against Rabbi Akiva. In fact, the Gemara says it's one person, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Amrulai Rabbi Akiva. What happens if a person tells his agent, go buy me yarok, go buy me greens? And he comes back and he says, I only found dluim. I don't want this to fall. Okay. So you see, why would the guy come back and ask the question? From the fact that the guy comes back and says, hey, could I buy you pumpkin? There's a raya that pumpkins are not part of vegetables. Because he said, go buy vegetables. Why would he come back and ask him? You just go and buy a pumpkin and bring it back. Rabbi Akiva says, that's exactly my point. That's a raya, fakert. Your logic is what I'm saying also. Because he comes back and says, can I buy a pumpkin? It's a raya that pumpkin is a vegetable. He doesn't come back and say, could I buy you fish? He doesn't come back and say, can I buy you a piece of wood? Comes back and says, can I buy you a pumpkin? So obviously, pumpkins are part of the vegetable family. We're talking again Nedarim. Nedarim has to do with Loshen B'nei Adam. What do people mean when they say vegetable? Or those days, greens. When he says greens or vegetables, what does he mean? That exact logic that you're using, I'm using. He'll never come back and say, oh, I couldn't find vegetables. Do you want kidneys? Beans. Nobody ever does that. But they will say, do you want pumpkin? You want gourd? Because beans are not vegetables. Nobody ever came back and said, hey, I couldn't find tomatoes. Would you like some beans? However, there is a bean called pula mitzri. Perhaps it's something like this. In Google, it's brought down as the Egyptian bean. I don't know if this is, but l'sabra soizen. When it's moist, then it's considered a yarok. It's considered a green. And when it hardens up, it's like a real bean. Then it turns into a bean. So you have a vegetable that has two stages. When you pick it and it's moist, then it's considered a green. And then it flips. I saw the Achronim ask, like the question I had last week, how does something become from Asr to Mutter, or from Mutter to Asr? How does it flip? Where does the Isser go to? It was Asr because it's a green. He said, the guy says, I am not going to eat any greens. So he can't eat this in the bowl. 5 days later, when it hardens, now he's Mutter to eat it. So where did the Isser run away to? Fine. Call upon him, you have an interesting thing. Now, this bean right over here, if you're Ashkenazi and you don't eat kidneys on Pesach, are you allowed to eat this bean when it's moist? The Mishnah says that when it's moist, it's considered a yerek. Then when it becomes hard, it becomes a bean. So there's a nidarim. It's a real nidarim. Perhaps you're permitted to eat this on Pesach. Says the Gemara, Hanoidim min hayorok. What does it say in the beginning of the Mishnah? If a person says he's not going to eat any greens, he's allowed to eat a glass, he's allowed to eat a gourd. And Rabbi Akiva says he's not allowed to. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? Min yarak nadar. He said, I'm not going to eat greens. How in the world is a gourd, a pumpkin, an orange pumpkin that's this big, included in his neder of not eating greens? Omer Ula, Boimer Yarki Gdeir Olai. It's not included. But when a person adds extra words, so you have to understand what he's saying. His lashon. Why did he say Gdeira, a pot? He didn't say yerek. He stuck in the word Gdeira. Typically speaking, a pumpkin is not part of the vegetable family. When he says the yerek of a pot, then he also means something else. And l'chayr, what does he mean? He means also a dlat, a gourd. Maybe he meant over here, it looks like a knedel, but it's really like a whole garlic, an entire garlic. If you look closely, you see all the... So maybe it's garlic, maybe it's onion, maybe it's something that... Yes, you're right, he added a word, gdeira. What he meant in that word is something that you add to a pot of soup. Something that you typically add. You don't typically add gourd to make your soup taste better. You add onion, you add garlic, whatever you have over there. It makes more sense. That's what he meant. Says Gemara, you're right. Yes. When he adds the word kdeira, he means to add garlic and onion, which are not part of the yerek family. But over here, he intends to add it. But he said, he added two words. That is cooked in a pot. Now people make pumpkin soup. There is such a thing of pumpkin soup. One of the best, right? So since he added two words, now he didn't just say yarak, but he added hamizbashel, bigdeira. So now he's coming to include gourd. So what's the svara of the machlokes here? Rabban and Sabri call milsa. What? You mean even onions and garlic? Yeah, of course that. Yeah. What, you mean gourd? And yeah. That's like the most, one word, gdeira means shum, means all those other things, onions and garlic. Mizbashel b'gdeira, the word mizbashel adds the gourd. So what's machlokes? Rabban and Sabri call milsa tzarich shlicha limluchi Allah lav minehu. Anything that the shliach has to come back home and ask again, call him up on the phone, hey, did you also mean a gourd? Then it's not its same min. It's not considered a vegetable. Since he has the chutzpah, or he even considers it part, he's just not 100% sure, so that gufa, because he makes that call, that means it's the same family. It's the same min. Omar Abaya says Abaya Moeder Rabbi Kiva le'inyan malchus she'enoi loika. However, even Rabbi Kiva admits that when he says these words, he doesn't mean a pumpkin. Nobody's going to say, he meant pumpkin. Just what? You're saying there's a suffix, perhaps he added extra word. Maybe he means pumpkin. For that, maybe you're not going to give the guy malchus. It's only a suffix. Again, the word pumpkin, even in the way we speak today, you say, go buy me vegetables, get me a salad from the bagel store. You don't mean with gourd. It's not part of the vegetable family usually. But there's one guy out there that might bring it back. So maybe this guy that made the neder, maybe he meant it. And he added all these words, Gdeira, Hamizbashel. So we say, maybe he meant to add it. So it's a real suffix. And from a suffix, you don't give a guy malchus. I'm thinking about it now, so I'm just going to, right now, I don't know if you were here last night, but Benny Rodnick is right across from the Waldorf. I mean, across the same, there's an overhang to the Waldorf, the front door. So right there by the apartment building, right next to the apartment where you go in for the parking at the Waldorf, there's a shul there. And that's where our satellite location is located from now on. For now, it moved from Rechavi to there. And on Friday, it was amazing. 2 people that met at that location. Well, at Rechavi, they came together. Oh, here he is. Got a free ride. So, and we found out that Leon Welcher is there every day from South Africa. He doesn't come say hello to us. Baruch Hashem. I mean, come on. This is not good. If we're going to lose people, it's not good. Go there and come here, right? What?
They're telling people it's at the Waldorf, so they gotta go to the Waldorf.
Free breakfast. If you go there. Oh, here they are. Is Leon there today? Pan the camera to Leon. We want to get him. Al-Kham. Hi, Benny. Okay, good. Bekitzer, this is just the start. We have a feeling it's going to grow. Says the Gemara. Not awesome. The guy's at HaTzadik, Benny. Every single day, what drives in? Last night after Shir, he was here for Shir. After Shir, at 11 o'clock at night, he went there to make sure that everything's set up properly. And Yishai Sunray, who's part of our Shir, and he brought all the people, he brought like 10 guys, paid for 10 tickets to go to Kiristir to convince people to join Megillah Tainis then. He's actually the gabbai in that place, so he's going to take care of the coffee and everything. It's going to be Gishmak. Okay, let's look at the Gemara. If it goes well, Bezer Hashem in Lakewood soon, Bekarev. I'm just saying. Huh? Oh, mate. Says Gemara. Not awesome. Oh, so I want to show you real quickly. Bottom line, what do we have from the sugya? If a person says just the word yerek, what comes out of the sugya? Yeah, this, that. He said mizbashal gdeira. So the bottom line is, if he doesn't say mizbashal, he doesn't say gdeira, he just says the word yerek. Yerek does not include the fruit of the ground. So it doesn't include tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, garlic, and certainly not gourd. Yerek means greens, just greens, lettuce, that sort of stuff, cabbage. Now, if he adds the word gdeira, so they would be asur in garlic and in onions and things that make the pot, whatever you cook in a pot, tastier. And if he says yerek hamizbashal, the bottom one, then it includes everything if the shliach would ask about it. The shliach says, hey, did you mean a watermelon? Did you mean this? Do you mean that? But if it's some sort of funny fruit that no one would, in the right mind, would ask, that you mean that? So it's not included in yerek hamizbashal b'gdeira. It has to have what? If typically he would ask for clarification, then it's included in the statement of yerek hamizbashal b'gdeira. But it has to be something that you ask for clarification. Not awesome. So, very interesting halacha. We know, and we learned this a number of times, that ein shliach l'dvar aveira. If I send somebody to kill someone in halacha, Torah halacha, the person that sends is not chayiv anything. The guy doing the hit job, he's chayiv. The murderer is chayiv. There's no shliach l'dvar aveira. I can't tell somebody, go eat chazer, go kill somebody. There's one exception. We learn from a Gzeir Shava, chet, from Truma, that by Mi'ila, there is a shliach l'dvar aveira. What's Mi'ila? If I tell you to go take something from the Beis HaMikdash, and you do it like I tell you to do it, you take something from Hegdish, I have in my freezer meat that's kachim, and I tell you, go to my freezer, take it out, and serve it. So the person doing the action is not chayiv, it's the person that sends. That's chayiv. We learn it from Truma. Just like I have a shliach for Truma, I can tell somebody, you take some fruit off my pile of fruit so I could eat the fruit. You're a shliach for the mitzvah. You're also a shliach for the aveira because of a special chiddush, chet. Hashliach she'asa shlichusay. This has to do with our sugya. Balabai mal. The person sending, the sender, he's the one that gets the aveira. You have to bring a carbon, you have to pay a chaymesh, you have to pay 20% more, 25% more. If I tell him to go to the freezer and take out the meat on the right, and he took out the meat on the left, he didn't do what I told him to do, so now the shliach is chayiv. He didn't listen, he didn't take instructions. Mantana, so the Ram points out that everybody agrees to this idea, Rebbe Kiva, everybody agrees to this. There's no shaila on that. The question is the continuation. Perhaps Rebbe Kiva argues on this part, on the part that this is shliach l'dvar aveira by Me'ila, everybody agrees, even Rebbe Kiva. It's not Ketzad. He says, go into my freezer, take the meat out, and give it to the guest. He didn't know. He didn't know it's hegdish. Nobody knew. And instead of listening to the balabayis, the balabayis said, give him meat. He probably meant nice steaks. Instead, he went and he gave them chopped liver. What's the halacha? Or he said, tein kaved v'nosan lehem basar. The question is liver included in meat? Is that what he meant or not? The halacha is hashliach mal, who, typically speaking, if meat and liver are one and the same, so who should get the avera? The sender. Over here it says it's not the sender, it's the actual agent gets the avera. Why? Because meat and liver are two different things. When I said go serve my guest, meat, I did not mean liver. The Rebbe Kiva, so if it goes according to Rebbe Kiva, the question is obvious. Rebbe Kiva called Milsa the Mimlech Allah Shliach Minehu. Not Minehu. If the agent is going to call for clarification, then it's the same. And therefore, limal balabayis veloy limal shliach. Because people, once in a while, he goes to the freezer, he sees there's no meat there, he's gonna go downstairs and say, hey, what about the liver? Should I serve liver? I couldn't find meat. Should I serve liver? Because liver and meat are something that you could ask for clarification. And according to Rebbe Kiva, if he asks for clarification, it's the same min. If it's the same min, then the sender is chayiv, not the agent. Now, just an interesting question. The Ran asks here, but didn't we just say a second ago that when there's a suffix, you don't get malchus? We just said, Abaye says that, yes, you're right. When you have to ask for clarification, it's the same min, but yet at the end of the day, you don't punish the guy. So over here also, you can't punish the guy. You can't say, hey, bring a carbon. It's the same thing as malchus. Why should he bring a carbon when it's not the same word? One is basar, one is liver. Over there we said that gourd and yerek is the same. Just you can't punish somebody. If you made a nether, he's not going to eat yerek, and he ate gourd, you can't give him malchus. So over here, why should you make this guy bring a carbon because he brought liver? So the Ran says, because liver and meat are, you don't need a yitr lashon, says the Ran. Before when we're talking about gourd, you have to say a funny language. You have to say, Gdeira shenis bashla. And because he says extra words, so now we start thinking, what did the guy mean by Gdeira shenis bashla? He should have said vegetables. Why is the guy saying something that's cooked? A cookable item in a pot. Vegetables, Shalom al Yisrael. Because he said extra words, he probably meant gourd, not by meat. That's not how it works by meat. He didn't say any extra words here in the sugya. He said, go get me meat. And meat could also mean liver.
Kind of suffix?
It's a different type of suffix. It's not a suffix. It's not a suffix, that's what he's saying. You don't need extra. Gourd is way out there. Think about yourself for a second. Think about your kids. You send your kid to get you one vegetable. Will he ever come back with a pumpkin? Not in a million years. Now, if you said funny words, maybe he'll start being medai. But if you say to your kid, go get me meat, or I'm having meat, let's say I say, for the first course at my wedding, I'm having meat. And then you show up and you this liver. Are you going to say, well, you said meat? It's meat. No? This is fine. That's what the Ran says. Omar Abai. So Abai says a very simple answer. Again, what's the kasha? The guy says, go get me meat, and the shliach got him liver, and we're saying he didn't do what the guy said. So the Gemara says, Omar Abai, I feel the time of Rebbe Kiva. No, this could go according to Rebbe Kiva. It says, beautiful. R B S sponsored by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP, and sponsored with schus being able to support Limud Torah and to finish Shas with rebellion. When it comes to a shliach, and you want the shliach to take full responsibility, or you want the balabais to take full responsibility, it's only in a situation where the shliach actually asks for permission. Big difference. When we're talking about Nedarim, we're talking about a nether. What's the lashon b'nei adam? What did he mean? So he doesn't actually have to ask the balabais. As long as some people make that phone call, and we have a history, 20 years ago, some guy made that phone call, that's enough for me. When I say yerek, I also mean a pumpkin. Because we're talking about Nedarim now. We're talking about what is the lashon of a person. But if you want to be mechayev, the guy that sent him, so you actually have to call him up and get clarification. Did you mean liver also? If he made that clarification, then the balabais would be chayev. But because he didn't make the clarification, then the balabais is potter. The shliach is chayev. At the end of the day, you have to make the phone call. It's not enough that you could make the phone call. Some people make the phone call. So the Gemara, they said this over, this beautiful teretz to Rava. Nachmeni says the Ran is Abaya. Abaya was a Yosem. Asher B'cha Yerucham Yosem. That's the Rosh Tevis. But because he was brought up by Rabba Bar Nachmeni, they called him Nachmeni. Says Gemara, Mantal the Poligalei de Rebbe Kiva. Who argues on Rebbe Kiva? Right? In the Mishnah we said, Amrulei, they told him. Comes out, it's not Amru. Rebbe Shimon Gamliel, another Tana. Rebbe Shimon Gamliel. The Tanya, I know them in a basar, also b'chol mini basar. If a person says, I'm not going to eat meat, he means all types of meat. Cow, lamb, and also venison. Everything. All species. V'asur, b'roish, u'b'reglaim, and he'd be asur in all the parts of the meat. The head, the feet, bakana. Bakana I put in the bottom. It looks yummy. The trachea. We learned chulin. I had one over here. Gevaldik. It looks like, actually, if you live in Eretz Yisrael, you know the white pipe that comes out of the air conditioner that drips through? That's what it looks like. That's it. It has like little ridges on it. I'm serious. That's the one. Ubakovet. When a person says, I'm not going to eat meat, he means I'm not going to eat liver. Ubalev, and a heart. Ubaoifais. What is it called? Sweetbreads, all the sweet stuff, the brains, the heart, whatever you want, the lungs. Umutar b'bsar dogim v'chagavim, and he's mutar to eat fish and locust. Now,
What about chicken?
It says here, oifais, uba-oifais. Oifais is aser. Oifais is considered meat. In Eretz Yisrael, when they say meat, a lot of times they mean chicken. Serving meat for dinner means chicken. So all meat, all parts of meat are included, including fowl, chicken. However, dogim, fish, and chagavim, like in this picture, that is not included. So, chagav, as I said before, is parv. I also read today that they had locust. They have arba, makas arba, goes and destroys the crops. So you would think it comes and destroys a field. They had locusts that had a few trillion locusts, and it spread over 100,000 miles. That's how wide this locust can be and destroy countries. Fine. But somebody said a svara. I don't know if it has any truth to them. Why is locust the only insect in the world that's mutter? It's like darshaning time of the crow kind of thing. Because if it's already coming to destroy your crop, you might as well eat some of it. You might have some protein, otherwise you're not going to be able to eat. People die from it. In Eretz Yisrael, people died from locusts. When the locusts came in the early 1900s, it caused tremendous famine and people died. What? 1950s. Okay. Fine. There's a Maisa. This is not the story, not the emotional one, but the famous Maisa about the Bach and the Taz. Said it a few times, say it again. The Bach, if you open up the Tur, he's the commentary on the Tur. The Taz is the commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. The Bach took the Taz as a son-in-law, and he promised him that he's going to give him meat every single day. And he lost all his money, the Bach, so he stopped giving him meat. He gave him instead, like they say, maybe it was lungs, some of the sweetbread stuff, the cheaper stuff. So the Taz took his father-in-law to Bezdin. You imagine? One God will take another God to Bezdin. And they said, in Bezdin, they said that the Bach is okay. He's in the good. Why? Because of this Gemara over here, that lungs and heart is all part of meat. If you say you can't eat meat, you can't eat lungs. See, he's Makayim his chiyuv. So they asked the Taz, what in the world? What are you taking your father to Bezdin? What's wrong with you? So he said, I'll tell you why. I used to get meat, I used to learn Stark. I'm not learning Stark anymore. My learning is, I feel a weakness in my learning. So I barely eat the stuff, it's not edible. So I'm getting weak. So I'm scared that my father-in-law, they're going to have a taina against my father-in-law's Shemayim. You say, look what you did to your son-in-law. Your Torah, okay, he's moichel you, but your Torah, it's weaker. And so I went to Bezdin, and Bezdin paskined that here, in this country, lungs are like meat. And Memela, he's Mekayim chiyuv, so there's no taina in him Shemayim. Once Bezdin paskins that it's the same, then it's the same. There's no taina on him. Fine. Weiter gegangen. Says the Gemara. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, and here's the one that's Mechulik on Reb Akiva. Reb Shimon Gamliel. Hanoi Dimin Abasar, but if Reb Shimon Gamliel holds, and who do we pass? When we have Machlekes Reb Akiva and Reb Shimon Gamliel, who do we pass? We pass like Reb Akiva Mechaveroi. So that's why they pass in Bezdin like the Bach. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, Hanoi Dimin Abasar, Asar B'chol Mini Basar. If somebody makes a neder from meat, he's not allowed to eat all types of meat, including venison, deer. Umutar, right? Because it's a chiddush. Because venison is a chaya, it's not a behema. Okay, all types. A behema gasa, behema daka, chaya, everything. Umutar baroish, he's allowed to eat the head, which most people don't really like. Uberaglaim, the feet, the legs, nobody likes that stuff. Ubakana, and the trachea. Ubakavid, liver, nobody likes that. Ubalev, ubaifais. I said this again. The caterer in Eretz Yisrael offered us liver on the table. In Eretz Yisrael, everybody loves this stuff. My wife cannot stand liver, so she refused to serve it. I said, but it's free. We're not paying extra. If you don't take it, she's not going to give us something instead. No, at my bar mitzvah, we're not having liver. End of story. There's no liver. U'kavid. It says in the Gemara, she's right. It's a little strange, kavid. U'balev. U'ba'ifais. So, Vein tzarch loymar basar dogim chagavim. Umuter. Reb Shimon Gamliel argues and he says that you're allowed to eat the head, you're allowed to eat the stuff. That's not considered meat. And you know what else is not considered meat? Chicken is not considered meat, and certainly not dogim v'chagavim. Reb Shimon Gamliel loymar kravayim, intestines, otherwise known as kishka, lav basar. It's not considered meat. If you eat kishka, you're not a human being. What does it mean? If you pay, listen to this, Rabbi Yosef, I was thinking about it. If you go to the cholent place on Thursday night and they say, do you want some kishka? Yeah. Kishka costs just as much as the meat. It maybe even more. It says over here. If you pay for kishka as much as you pay for meat, Lin Zvine, Lav Barinish. You're not a mensch, you're not a human. Get out of here. Okay? That's what you state. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Oh, and I forgot to show you, I have here. This is the real deal. I'm not kidding you. This is Chagavim. Does anybody want to taste? Do we have a Sephardi that's willing to? Hershel Schachter ate this. You know what? I don't want to. But for ratings, I'll do anything. I'm not going to eat it. No, it's a shaila la'alacha if Ashkenazim could eat. If you don't have a thing, not shaila. People say most likely you're allowed to. There's the R Svarim that say you're not allowed to. Rabbi Hershel Schachter took this and ate it on the spot. You don't need a hechsher. This has this lifkin. No, so they're saying there is no right one and wrong one. The Torah says there's 4 types and they're all the same to this. Reb Chaim wrote a whole sefer about it. Karen Chagavim. Chaim Kanievsky. By the way, Shabsei Cohen reminded me. Remember when I said the story about Reb Chaim Kanievsky when he learned the sugi of Chagavim? So the grasshopper jumped on his Gemara, and somebody said it's not true. So then he came home. His house is full of grasshoppers. So somebody said that story is not true. It's brought in Elena Shabbat. So when he came home, his whole house is full of Elena Shabbat. So I said that story in my brother-in-law's yeshiva, and we were learning about Shratzim, and a sheret fell off the ceiling into my Gemara. Ma'aseh Shaya. Moifus. Mamish and Moifus. Rav HaGaon HaGadol. Does anybody want to taste this? I'm getting used to this. Avi. Rav Hershel Schachter eats it. Let's go. Let's do it. You got it? Who wants to volunteer right here and eat this L'Shem Shemayim for ratings? Yeah. It's a question of halacha. I would eat it right now if I held that it's mutter. Exactly. If I knew for sure, if Chaim Kanievsky ate it, I would eat it. Okay, Zok the Gemara. Oh, it's already 8 o'clock. Says the Gemara like this. We got to move. Rabbi side. Where are we? Oh. Maishna basar oiv l'tana kama da'asir. Reb Hershel Shechter ate it on the spot without even thinking twice. There's a video going around. Maishna basar oiv l'tana kama da'asir. David shlicha d'mim l'chalei. Ask the Gemara, what's the difference? Why is chicken included in the Isser? Because, according to the Tanakama, because when a person says, go buy me meat, and there's no meat in the store, he'll call up, say, there's no meat, should I get chicken? Now, if you don't have chicken, maybe you'll call up and say, hey, do you want fish instead? Protein is protein. We're talking about, oh, you're right. Sometimes fish can be substituted for meat. But we're talking about a case where the guy had bloodletting, and after you have bloodletting, you don't eat fish, it's dangerous. Now here comes the story, Rabbi Isai. I hope I can say the story without breaking down. Seriously, I said the story over to my wife yesterday. I started crying like a baby. There was a girl who needed a blood transfusion. They couldn't find her type blood. Her little brother, 8-year-old boy, he had the same type of blood. So they said, okay, we have no choice. So they go to the boy and they say, listen, your sister needs blood. Can we have your blood? She said, yeah. Thought about it? Yeah. So they bring him to the place and they put the needle, they hook him up to the needle and everything. And he says, Mommy, when am I going to die? He says, die? He said, yeah. You said you need blood for my sister. And without blood, I can't live. So when am I dying? He was masking to give up his life to give blood to his sister. He said, no, it's just a little blood. Ah, okay, fine. So when I think about it, a kid was going to be Meiser Nefesh to give his, without asking questions. He said, okay, just want to know when's the Yitzias Neshama exactly. Says the Gemara. He said 9 months later. Gewaldig. Yosef Gewaldig. Please edit that out. Nope. Wait a minute. You can't eat chicken either after you have bloodletting. If it's talking about the specific case. If a guy has bloodletting, and he eats chicken afterwards, his heart is going to flutter like a bird. I forgot to look it up, but I remember reading once that what do they call the birds that fly backwards? Hummingbirds. The heart beats, 1,000 times a minute. No, like something mishuga. So what? 100 times a second. 69 times a second, maybe. You sure it's 100? Look it up and go. Let me know. His heart is going to flutter 100 times a second. So it says also in the Raya, you don't do bloodletting and then eat fish and then eat chicken. So what's the difference? There's no difference between chicken and fish. And not on salty meat. After you do bloodletting, you shouldn't eat milk, you shouldn't eat cheese, and not eggs. Here's a picture of shachlayim if you want to know what it looks like. Cress. Okay, fine. Says Gemara, okay, but this is the difference between chicken and fish. If you boil the chicken, then it's mutter to eat, or not mutter, it's not a sakana anymore. Boil it really well, you can eat it after bloodletting. But if you boil fish very well, that doesn't help, it's still a sakana. Another pshat. We're not talking about a person that did bloodletting, we're talking about a person that has an eye ache. His eye hurts him. The dogim kashim le'nayim, you shouldn't eat fish, but you could eat chicken. Yachi achal dogim. Adrabah, you should eat fish. Why should you eat fish? Shmuel, nun samachayin. If you take the Aleph Beis lamed mem, what comes after mem? Nun samach ayin. So it's a way to remember. Nuna, fish. Sama is medicine lainayim. It's good for the eyes. So you see, you should eat fish if you have eye ache. Why is that by saying you have eye ache, you shouldn't eat fish? After you're starting to heal, then eat some fish, get that iron in there, that omega-3 or whatever it is, and it'll heal the eye. But don't do it all in the beginning. Have a wonderful day.